All right, welcome back to the best training channel on YouTube. For those that have been DMing me, I haven't gotten a lot of DMs about it, but I have got some questions. What's been happening with YouTube? Why am I taking a break? Nothing really happened specifically to me other than the fact that the camera I use was malfunctioning. I had to mail it to Reykjavik, get it fixed. They had to mail it back. That took about 10 days total to get everything done. So I wasn't able to get the last part of my last training block filmed, which is what I did that front squat. I did hit a personal best on the front squat for a 4-rep max. I ended up getting 190 on that Friday, which kind of was exciting, but bummed me out that I wasn't able to get that onto YouTube for you guys. This training phase is going to be the end of what I had scheduled for this strength block. So this is going to be week 9, 10, 11, and 12. Over the course of the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be building up towards 2 and 3 rep maxes on a bench press, on a back squat, on a front squat. We're going to test a 60-meter dash, and we're going to save the Olympic lift tests for the phase after that. So once we finish with this strength phase, then we're going to move into training for like a heavy clean, a heavy snatch, and see what kind of numbers we can get on that. But over the course of the next 3 weeks, we're focused on really heavy squats, heavy presses, trying to also run a fast 60, which I'm very excited about, a potentially very good 60-meter dash that I could get. I did run one last week to kind of get a base number and see where I was at. I ended up running a 672. So my goal in the next 3 weeks is to drop that into the 660s. So anything from 669 below is kind of the goal that I'm going to be going for over the course of the next 3 weeks. But today's session, we're going to be out on the track. I'm going to start off with some acceleration bounds into a sprint. Then we're going to go into some sled sprints at a long distance, probably 50, maybe 60 meters on those sled sprints. And then we're going to finish off today's session with a little bit more jumping. And first thing we're going to do, I'm going to finish up my warm-up. I've done a little bit already. I'm going to do my last few drills, and then we're going to get into the acceleration bounds into a sprint, and I'll kind of explain what I'm focusing on as I get there. So the first thing I'm going to do is an acceleration bound into kind of a buildup. I said acceleration bound into a sprint, but I'm going to be doing an acceleration bound into a buildup. So what I'm going to do is for about 4 to 6 hard acceleration bounds. So really trying to over exaggerate, extending through the hip, pushing, holding that position of acceleration before I drive that next foot into the ground. I'm going to do that for about 4 to 6 reps, and then transition into a build-up for probably 15 to 20 total meters. So the idea on this is to over-exaggerate the acceleration on those first 4 to 6 hard steps, and then just transition into a build-up, try to maintain that speed and get into a little bit more of an upright sprinting position. All right, hopefully the mic doesn't fall off too much, but 4 to 6 hard steps. I've got a 20-meter mark measured out. 4 steps for me is usually about 10. If I go 6, that's probably going to put me about 15 meters. So somewhere between that 10 to 15 meter range, I'm going to just transition from acceleration bound into more of a traditional cycle as I sprint, and then probably carry that out towards that 30-ish meter range. So try to give you guys a little bit different of a view. I got the camera at the 30-meter mark. Same thing, 4 to 6 hard acceleration bounds, and then just transition by trying to maintain the speed that I've already built up, transition into just upright sprinting through that 30-ish meter range. So somewhere around where the camera is going to be. I'm going to do 3 to 4 reps on this total. I've already made my mind up. I'm going to be doing 60 meters with my sled sprints today, which is probably not the best idea. But in terms of like progression, I was doing 10 kilos at 50 meters for the last cycle. I want to keep that 10 kilos because it feels like a manageable amount of resistance where I can still keep my sprint cadence. I can feel like I'm springing off the ground enough. So I want to extend that out 10 meters because I know in the next training phase, I'm going to be building towards a 100-meter dash. So if I can build up this first 60 as best as possible over the course of this 12 weeks, which I think doing these light resistance sprints and then finishing off the end of the week with some block work and some longer sprints, I think those 2 speed days will set me up well for not only running a good 60, but having that kind of base foundation laid out so I could run a good 100-meter dash in the next training phase. That's the idea that I have today. Maybe I run my first couple 60s and I feel like it's way too much and I bring it back down, but we're at least gonna do 160, see how it goes. That feels good. Nice and warm. Legs feel pretty good. First day after a deload, always a little sluggish, but today feels good. I got the mic on for this first one. We're gonna see how 60 meters with a 10-kilo sled is going to feel. So you guys can't see it, but 60 meters is down past where those soccer goals are on the right-hand side. Just gonna send it, see how it feels for this first rep. Whew, that felt like 100 meters. Oh, my hamstrings were feeling that one. All right, rep number 2, we're gonna keep it at 60. First rep, not too bad. Second rep, I have a feeling it's gonna feel much better now that I know how that 60 is gonna feel. The rest in between these is going to be about 5 to 6 minutes because we're doing a long distance with resistance. So pretty much as close to full recovery without taking like a 10-minute break in between is kind of where I'm at on my rest period today. All right, I got the camera on the widest angle lens that I have available, and I'm gonna try to set this camera up so you guys can see what 60 meters with this sled actually kind of look like, because I feel like from the angles of running away and running towards the camera, it's not doing it justice. 2 more reps, long ass 60 meters coming up. Those are no cameras. I got this on 16 millimeters right now. I'm using a 16 to 32. It's on the widest it can be wide. So I'm halfway across the soccer field right now. That's where the camera's got to be set up. And this is going to show you kind of how far running 60 meters actually is with a sled. As I'm doing more of these, they're starting to feel better and better. So I got 1 more rep. 4 is the most I wanted to do today. I might do 5 next week. I might keep it at 4s, but 4 was a good amount because that puts me at 240 total meters of speed work today, which is kind of right in that sweet spot of what works well for me.